out. I was a kid like that one time. I marched to the beat of my own drum, which is a fitting conversation to have when we think about who our neighbor is. Because my mother told me I'd never fit in anywhere. Anyway, speaking of my mother, I want to tell you a story about how in 1980, we left my father and moved to live near my mom's family at the time of their divorce. And so here is my mother in her early 30s with her own house on her own, 3 kids, all with very different personalities. One of us a little obnoxious. I won't say who that was. One of us a little crabby. And the other one who never said a word. She was living with all kinds of stress because her family's expectations, she never felt like she quite met. And I don't know what truth was there, what truth wasn't there, but she was stressed because now we were living by her family and we didn't used to. She was stressed because we didn't have the support of my dad's side of the family, which was always really wonderful for us. She was stressed about how the divorce was going to go and if she'd get to keep her kids and what kind of visitation my father would expect. And she was concerned about her own safety because she left him because he wasn't the kindest guy. There was all kinds of stuff going on. So we move into this house, and it's one of the very first nights that we're there in the house. And it's January, and it's like 4 degrees outside. I remember it was freezing. And the house was an older house, and the door wouldn't shut. And if she'd get it to shut, she couldn't get it to lock. And so here it is like 10, 11 o'clock at night, and it's a school night, of course. And we 3 kids, I was only 10. No, I had just turned 11. So my brother was 9, and my sister was maybe 8? I'd have to do math. I don't do math. We don't know. We're however, they're younger. And of course my mom says to my brother, "Freddie, come down here and fix this." Well, truth, I do that to Luke since he was about 6. It's truth. I get it from my mother. Well, my brother's answer was to figure out what was wrong, to see if it would latch by slamming the door. Well, that didn't make the deadbolt catch. Just wasn't going to work. So Mom's idea was that he should get out of the way. So my brother and I are outside with a butter knife trying to and we're freezing to death. And we're in our pajamas because we thought this is going to take 2 seconds. So why would we bother? Putting our coats on, getting dressed, using boots. No. We're barefoot on the concrete front porch, 4 degrees. And we get to screaming at each other because he's supposed to hold the knife in the spot where the latch goes and see if he can get it to pop out. We just need it to shut for one night, and then she'll get it fixed the next day. In the meantime, he and I are making a whole lot of noise, and every time we open the door, Mom slams it again to try to get that thing. I don't know how we thought we were getting back in if she got that door attached. Maybe through her bedroom window, which is incidentally how I climbed out other times, but it's a whole different story. So up the street, keep in mind we're new. We're very new, and here's an example of how new we are. We're working on the 5th generation in that valley. My grandparents moved in 1968, so they're one generation, and my pap started teaching auto mechanics at the tech school. So my mom's generation is the 2nd generation. They brought with them 2 of my aunts who married local guys. So then there's our generation, because we weren't born there, but our cousins were. We moved there when we were young, still in elementary school. Then we had babies, and my brother and some of my cousins have babies, and some of those people still have more babies. That's where my great-nephew comes in. 5 generations in the valley. Last weekend when I wasn't here, when I was with them, we were at the family campground, which we have belonged to since my grandparents belonged there. And we were reminded at the ice cream social, well, you're one of us, but you're still not really from here. Being neighborly, you know? You get areas that are like that. Noelle's shaking her head. She grew up in Perry County. It's kind of the same. Yeah, I'm not dissing Perry County. I like Perry County. It was beautiful last Saturday driving through with all the fog. Anyway, go back to that very first night that we're in the house. We are absolutely not members of this community. We are brand spanking new. And as my brother and I holler at each other, and my mother slams the door over and over, we hear from up the street around the corner, who in the H is making all that racket? Which did not make us feel any more welcome. And we were terrified kids in the first place. This was a whole new situation in life for us. But then, from 2 doors down, across the grass, in his shorts and slippers, comes a man carrying a toolbox. And he never said a word. He never said a word. He walked up onto the porch, elbowed me and my brother out of the way, took the door out of my mother's hands and stood in the doorway, took the deadbolt apart, sprayed something. I'd have told you it was WD-40, but it didn't. That can could have been brake cleaner for all I know. That didn't look like a WD-40 can in my world. Sprayed it, punched it a couple times, shut it real gently, nodded at my mother, said to me and my brother, "Good night, kids, get in there." And they became our second family. Truly. Truly. As a matter of fact, when I had to break into our house, I went to their house to get the butter knife so I could wiggle my mother's latch on her bedroom window and go in the house that way. I carried it in my book bag from school in case Mom wasn't home when I got home. We found neighbors in a place that we didn't expect to find neighbors when we were really pretty other. Really pretty other. We were loud, we were impoverished, we were a single family and nobody on that block was divorced. Nobody knew us. We had no friends. Mom had no friends. And yet it didn't matter. And for all the years that we owned that house, Mr. Horner, that was his name, Lawrence Horner, would walk across the yard and fix whatever was broken every single time. Every single time. There was no good reason for us to forge that kind of relationship with people who were so incredibly different from us, except that there was compassion and love. I learned so much from that family about being stable that I cannot wait to see them when I get to heaven. Those extra parents of mine. Incredible, incredible people. Incredibly welcome, incredibly open, incredibly warm. And I share that story and I didn't cry, I'm proud of myself. I share that story because that's the kind of neighborly we're called to be. If you pay attention in our gospel lesson today to what's going on, this guy, this lawyer, is concerned only for himself. His question starts with I. What must I do to inherit eternal life? And Jesus says, what's the Bible say? And he knows all the right quotes. He quotes Deuteronomy 6 about loving the Lord with everything you've got. He quotes Leviticus 19 about loving your neighbor as yourself. Jesus says, you got it. You got it. Do that stuff and you will have life. You'd think the conversation would end there, but it doesn't. It doesn't end there. We could end that conversation there. Should we just end that conversation? Go love God and be nice. Is that going to motivate us? Maybe not. Maybe it will. Maybe it will for today, like that expiration date on your love card. Yeah. But that guy is still doing what? Thinking of himself. So the Bible tells us, in order to be vindicated, which means what? Where's my English teacher? What does vindicate mean?
Proven correct.
Yeah, to be proven correct. To really, really, really get it right. He says, what? I lost my page. Right, who is my neighbor? He wants to make sure that he's not loving the wrong person. He's not loving the wild kids who are half naked out on their front porch slamming the door and screaming at each other. He wants to make sure that he's still staying away from the right people to stay away from. Yeah. And Jesus tells this story. And in the time, this was revolutionary because Samaritans and Jews did not mix with one another if they could help it. They were divided. Oh, much like our society today. Divided. Every single one of us, if we haven't said it, we've heard it. I don't talk to those people. I don't interact with people like that. I don't go there. Because you never know what kind of person you're going to run into. We do it. We say it. When somebody else says it, we don't stand up against it. We just automatically, like this guy, assumes that we have people who are neighbors and we have people who aren't neighbors. And we call it righteousness. We say we're doing the right thing by staying away. But Jesus tells a revolutionary story when he says, you're not going to believe who the neighbor was. And it makes us sit up and pay attention because we are called to love the people you wouldn't expect us to be called to love. We're called to love the people we run into, period. No matter what they look like, what they sound like, what they smell like, who they love, if they have different morals from you, different ideologies from you, different theologies from you, different politics from you, different economics from you, it doesn't matter. And we at Trinity are really pretty good at this. We stand up as a congregation and say, free holy hot dogs for all. Free good food for you bags for all. Incidentally, brief commercial. We've decided every Penny Carnival kid is going to get a good food for you bag, so we're packing not 50 in August, but 150. So if you'd like to be part of the contribution for that, let me know. Let Sandy Amick know. She's not here today. I was going to point her out, but She is not here. We're pretty good at that. But as disciples, how good are we at that in our individual lives? When those people who are so different that we don't want to call them neighbors are neighbors, or our siblings, or cousins, or spouses, or children. Jesus calls us not to identify who our neighbor is. He never answers that question. Instead, he calls us to be neighborly, period. He doesn't pick and choose who he loves. He loves us all and celebrates us all, lives with us all, and died for us all. And we're called to do the same because it's good news for all of us. Thanks be to God. Now let's sing together hymn number 708.